I can't believe he's back.
Your death is gonna be just as pointless as mine.
Sorry, miss me?
It's a full-blown invasion.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. And this will be a theory video going over multiple different stuff, such as who the negative Speed Force avatar is going to be, Eddie Thawne's revenge in the back half of the season, and just various other things like that, such as possibly Reverse Flash's involvement. We'll be talking about all of it. So yeah, be sure to stick till the very end of the video if you guys are interested in all of this stuff. So obviously we know that from last season, Thawne tipped the scales and pretty much got erased from existence. Now we knew ever since season 1, Eobard Thawne was the user of the negative Speed Force. He's after all the one who created it, and he's been the negative Speed Force avatar ever since, until last season where he erased himself from existence, in which we cut to 2049 and we see a blue crystal in which we have Iris obviously talking about that the negative forces are going to be finding a new avatar, and Barry said something along the lines of, yeah, I know, but when he's there, we'll be ready for him. He says something like that. Now, in The Flash Season 9, we did obviously get introduced to our first main villain, the Red Death, who's been a character all of us have been wanting to see for a while now. And we did have the assumption that maybe this could have been a mislead, and that Red Death could have been the negative Speed Force avatar, in which in the latest episode of The Flash from the time I'm recording this video, Season 9, Episode 4, titled Mask of the Red Death Part 1, we found out that Red Death is actually not the negative Speed Force avatar, but Red Death is just an artificial Speed Force user, so pretty much like Godspeed. It's not like Mina Dawan. Mina Dawan did also create her own Speed Force using the Lightning Oscillation Chamber, but her connected to the negative Speed Force, whereas Red Death does not connect to any specific Speed Force or anything like that. And this is why she's not able to time travel, and this is why she needs the Cosmic Treadmill as well, because she doesn't have access to the Speed Force. So if Red Death isn't the negative Speed Force avatar, then who is? Well, obviously we know it's going to be linked with the blue crystal now, saying that the new negative Speed Force user is not going to be Red Death. We know Cobalt Blue is going to be the main villain for the final arc of the season, and we know Cobalt Blue does link with the blue crystal that we saw from the Flash Season 8. In set photos we do see Eddie Thawne in the Cobalt Blue costume, and he is wearing the crystal with him. So we know Eddie Thawne, aka Cobalt Blue, is going to be the new negative Speed Force avatar. But how is this possible? How is Eddie Thawne not only back alive, but also gets access to the negative Speed Force? So one option is that the negative forces exist beyond space-time, so maybe the forces approached Eddie moments before he died in this new timeline, or maybe after he went through the singularity, maybe he wasn't dead just yet, which again doesn't make sense because Thawne did get erased from existence, so there's got to be a moment where Eddie did actually die, but then when he goes through that singularity, he came back somehow. Now, it could be that the negative forces approached him and just gave him speed healing or something like that. It could also be possible that someone brought Eddie back, because you do have to take into account that he shot himself, and there's really no way you could pretty much survive from that when you're clearly dead at first. So it is possible that someone did bring him back, so that could be one option. But as I said, it could also be possible that the negative forces were the ones that brought Eddie Thawne back. Now, if you want to go with like a crazy twist or something like that, you could say that maybe a younger version of Eobard Thawne did bring Eddie back. We do know that Matt Letcher is going to be playing a big role in The Flash Season 9. He's back for, I believe, 2 episodes. It could be 1 episode, but he will be somewhere around like episode 11 or episode 12. So he will not be in the finale, but he will be in episode 11 or episode 12, which, bear in mind, is part of the final graphic novel. So it is possible that in this episode, in one of those episodes, because Eric Wallace did say that they've done something with Matt Letcher's Reverse Flash that they've been wanting to do for a while now, and like it's a big thing. So that is clearly going to be some sort of a Reverse Flash origin episode or something like that, something heavily involving Matt Letcher's Reverse Flash. So it could be possible that as we see this origin story for the Reverse Flash, we could also get some sort of scene where he potentially does bring Eddie back to life. However he does that, Eobard Thawne is obviously an incredibly smart person. He would probably know how to do something like that, and maybe that's how it links with the blue crystal in some way. I don't know. I know this is pure speculation, but I can't really think of anything else. We know the blue crystal originates from 2049, so we know Eddie Thawne does get thrown into the future, and I'm guessing it is someone that brings him back. So maybe this blue crystal that's formed could be something Eobard does, where it essentially gives him access to the negative speed force. Or possibly it could work in the same way that the Philosopher's Stone does from The Flash Season 3. That could also be another option, and that could explain how Eddie not only gets his powers, but also he becomes Cobalt Blue and comes back to life. That could be a possibility as well. So pretty much in the most simplest way possible, this blue crystal not only allows him to tap into the negative speed force, but also it's the only reason he's alive. So this crystal, it's keeping Eddie alive, but also he is able to like travel in various points in time. He has speedster abilities and various other things like that. That could also be another possible option in my opinion. So it could very well be that this crystal does work in the same way as the Philosopher's Stone. However, it's like something coming from the negative speed force. So once again, it could be something created from a lab, which is why we did see the crystal in the lab. So maybe it was actually Eobard Thawne that creates it. Or once again, it could be Eddie that somehow he gets hold of it after he's resurrected. I don't know, but that will be pretty interesting to see. But we know for a fact that Cobalt Blue is going to be the negative speed force avatar. Now, in terms of why Eddie is a villain, this is because of a direct cause of not only, I would say, manipulation or just what he sees with his own eyes, but also it's a cause of the negative speed force as well. So Eddie, when he comes back, obviously he would try to go to Iris, he'd try to reunite, get his life back and everything. But when he does, obviously he's in 2049, so things are going to be very, very different. Not only is she going to come across an Iris that's married and has 2 kids with Barry, but also Eddie's life is pretty much gone. He's in the future, he knows all of this stuff. No mention of Eddie Thawne whatsoever, so pretty much he is erased, whereas the Flash is just like completely famous. He's like the Central City's hero, whereas Eddie was the hero of Season 1, but he got no credit, or this is what he would believe could happen. So he would have like the twisted story of it. And even further, the negative speed force, as we know, draws all of the negative emotions, hatred, anger, all those sorts of stuff to its user. So that is why Eddie would be further like raged, angered, and this could be the reason why he would want revenge against the Flash. Now obviously you would consider, why did it take so long for Eddie to come back? Now obviously the first reason is it's because Eobard Thawne got defeated in The Flash Season 8. So the negative forces didn't really need a new avatar until that point in time. But then also, when the negative forces approached Eddie, or however Eddie got hold of the negative forces, assumingly through this crystal, the reason why it took him so long is because obviously he would need training. He's had no speedster abilities before, everything like that. He would want to know the weaknesses and the strengths of Team Flash and everything like that. Pretty much study Team Flash and everyone, study all of the events that he missed. All of this catching up he could do as a speedster, yes, but also he needs to gain experience. He needs to train. He just needs to know Barry's weakness. And I am really looking forward to Eddie as a villain, because this is going to be very, very personal and would affect Barry and Iris's relationship severely. And this is a personal villain, therefore it's one of the better ones, shall we say. So I am really looking forward to that aspect of the character. So pretty much his motivation would be to get revenge, because his life has been taken away from him. Barry literally took everything from him. So that just personal rivalry on its own is just so intriguing, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now obviously Eddie being the negative speed force avatar, it does also explain how all of these villains are returning for the finale. Like we have Zoom, we have Savitar, we have Reverse Flash, and we have Godspeed. Now Godspeed, he was already in Ironhide, so he could easily break out, or someone could break him out. But the other villains, they've been erased from existence. And what I think is going to happen is that Eddie would use his powers and use this crystal to bring all of these villains back prior to a moment something tragic happened to them. So it's kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home in a way, where all of the villains, all of the Sinister Six villains came back but from a point before they died. So it's the same way, but applying to the Flash. That's what I think is going to happen. And since Eddie is the user of the negative speed force, and we do also have this set photo of Savitar with the red suit, this would lead me to believe that potentially all of the speedsters returning would be using the negative speed force. Like, we could have Eddie sharing negative speed force to all of these villains, and I think that would be a really cool thing to see, in my opinion. But also another option is, and this would be a big twist if they do this, the negative speed force avatar, it's still Reverse Flash. If you really think about it, he's the creator of the negative speed force, you know, he would still be the one using it. So it is very possible that we could actually have the twist that Matt Letcher's Eobard could be the negative speed force avatar, or maybe just the Reverse Flash in general, because after all, he is like the big main villain of the Flash. So it would be weird to see someone else being the avatar, which I know it's most probably going to be Eddie, but there is this possibility that it could be the Reverse Flash, and that could be some sort of a twist on its own as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this theory. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.